Continuing a breakneck pace, he wastes zero time in moving forward into its new arc, an arc that will see us getting more acquainted with the deeper political world of Kagurabachi, I believe, and particularly a familiar feel, a retrieval arc, a classic shonen retrieval arc.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
Now, if you're not familiar with a retrieval arc, allow me to refresh your brains here. Allow me to refresh that memory. The Sasuke retrieval arc from Naruto, Bleach's Rukia retrieval arc, Attack on Titan's raid on Shiganshina. They're all phenomenal examples of this. It normally just entails a main character or cast going to retrieve an item or a person who will basically become integral to the plot going forward. Naruto needed to get Sasuke before he went too far off the deep end, resulting in their final fight. Ichigo needed to save Rukia from execution within the Serite, and Eren needed to access his dad's basement in Shiganshina in order to advance the plot. And now we have Kagurabachi, who within 45 chapters has somewhat subverted the standard expectations of the classic shonen main character, gains a power, train an arc and shoes, defeat big bad guy, and instead we're given a main character who already understands his powers, and while he might not have fully matured with the blades yet, he is still a formidable opponent, which brings us through to this fight with Sojo, as well as experiencing just a mere fraction of what these enchanted blades can actually do in the right hands at the Raguzaichi arc. I mean, I say the right hands, but like, this dude was inexperienced with a blade, but he was potentially being controlled by the former wielder, and that's just a different story in and of itself. But in this chapter, Chihiro sort of faces the music against the Kamunabi here, and he's basically been running parallel with them this entire series. Their goals were they've aligned momentarily, where they both want the procurement and the security of these enchanted blades, but obviously Chihiro's end goal here is kind of like, yeah, I'm going to help you, but I'm also, at the end, I'm going to take those blades away. And to that end here, Chihiro decides that he's going to be best. It would be best if he joined the Kamunabi. And this was a move by Hokuzono here at the end of the previous chapters that genuinely surprised me. This to me would have been like Ichigo joining the captains after saving Rukia, or just after being like granted his Soul Reaper powers. I think it was a very, very interesting choice, and it's one that I'm genuinely excited to see play out, because it feels like there's a lot of espionage and a lot of secrecy going on in here, and the Kamunabi don't exactly trust him, and why should they? Because all they know right now is that he claims to be Kunishigi's son, Rokihiro's son, and he wields the N10, an enchanted blade that they'd never heard of nor seen before. And this, in turn, it sparks some interesting conversation. The first page here, Shiba mentions how he doesn't really want to join Chihiro in this meeting because he previously roughed up a few of them because of his dad, and this gives us a little bit more insight into Shiba's past, and I wonder if Shiba turned on the Kamunabi before or after Rokihiro's death. I wonder if it was Rokihiro's death that incited a smaller bit of tomfoolery and violence from Shiba's part against the Kamunabi here. But this chapter serves to not only recap quickly the events that's happened previously, but also let us know that the Shinuchi is now sealed temporarily, but it can't remain that way ever, because simply put, it's just too damn strong. I mean, we saw what it could do with just a sliver of the blade being drawn in an inexperienced hand. It was the wrong hand, but it was an inexperienced hand, and the main point of interest for me throughout this whole chapter right here was this guy. A character who's very abrasive to Chihiro and very standoffish. Now, this is my own personal theory here, but for a long time, I believe that there was a traitor within the Kamunabi, and I believe that that traitor was Azumi to possibly be that traitor. Now, I have zero evidence to go off on this. It's just all headcanon and speculation, but it was simply based on the fact of his vibe, and that he also reminds me of Gin from Bleach. He just gives me that vibe. However, now this guy, I'll call him Mutton Chops because we don't have an official name yet, he's kind of quelled that suspicion a little bit here, because he mentions how Chihiro truly is the son of Rokuhiro here, then he should know some of the folks that are at this table, as a few of them were literally instrumental in setting up his dad's hideout, meaning that he more than likely knew where Rokuhiro was living and possibly how to get to him and have him attacked. And on top of this, for a brief moment here, he mentions how he should kill Chihiro right here and now, as it would be better for the Kamunabi to secure another enchanted blade, and if he kills off Chihiro here, he doesn't have to worry about the eternal contract that binds these sorcerers to the blades. Now, conveniently, this is almost the exact same goal as the Hishaku right now, to kill the former blade bearers and free them from their eternal contracts so that these blades may be used by a new wielder. Now, to further add into this point, Morton Chops here says how we don't need a blood test. He is definitely Rokuhiro's son, calling him arrogant and pig-headed. Now, those to me, they don't sound like words that you would call someone you like or had a decent relationship, but at this point, who fucking knows? There is a lot of stuff going on within this. I mean, even a vouch from Hiyuki and Hakuri within this chapter just didn't seem to make a bit of difference towards this guy. He seems very, very indifferent towards Chihiro, and he seemed way too open to killing this dude. And also, I would like to point out how Azumi getting ready to also attack here. I'm very suspicious of this because on one hand, you could definitely interpret it of, okay, he's going to defend Chihiro and attack mutton chops, or maybe my original theory was correct that Azumi was the traitor all along and he was just getting ready to attack Chihiro and finish the blow in case Mr. Mutton Chops didn't do a good enough job. So there's a lot of moving parts going on within the story that any one of these folks could have leaked the intel on where Rokihiro was hiding, but I don't know, man. There's a lot, and I hope eventually we get to figure that all out. But before Mutton Chops can go any further with his plan of violence, a messenger arrives declaring that one of the hideouts for the previous enchanted blade holder has been attacked. Now, there was multiple spirit energy signatures that were very, very similar to an enchanted blade, and the news was that they annihilated a fortress here, and that says two things to me. One, Mr. John Hishaku here has gained the information that he needed from the Rakuzaichi to stabilize the Datan Sekai, so that it could be wielded without the user just simply going kaput and exploding, because he was there and he obviously wanted information. And at the end of the Rakuzaichi here, he mentions how, you know, he was getting some information, he was doing a little bit of testing, a little bit of tomfoolery, so it's potential that that was one of the main goals here and he's achieved that goal. Or number two, he doesn't care and he just sent those guys to self-destruct at the fortress. And at this point, I'm genuinely not sure which option is worse for the Kamunabi, because neither one of those options present a good time for Chihiro or the Kamunabi, because the Kamunabi were pretty adamant that the sorcerers guarding these fortresses and the previous enchanted blade wielders, they couldn't be felled by you know, even someone with an enchanted blade would have a hard time getting in. Now, I'm just a little bit skeptical about that, because obviously what happens here, these guys holding just the raw material that these blades are made from annihilated the fortress. So it is very, very interesting. But upon hearing this news, Chihiro tells the Kamunabi here that he is their best bet. They want him to prove himself and have a reason to trust him. They also need the power of the enchanted blade, but entrusting the intent to someone else would cause too many issues in terms of having to train someone else to use it, leaving the only option here, which is to send Chihiro and his duo, Hakuri. Now, Hakuri makes a few appearances throughout this chapter here, and something that I did notice was that every time he uses his power, he gains a nosebleed. It was very, very reminiscent of JJK with Gojo and Sukuna getting sort of nosebleeds from overusing their power. And I've said this a couple of times in previous videos, but the sorcery element of this series reminds me heavily of Jujutsu Kaisen and also Hunter x Hunter, because I've always said that sorcery within Jujutsu Kaisen also reminds me of Hunter x Hunter. So it's a story and it's a power system that I can genuinely get behind here. But I also do want to point out something else here, is that Hokuzono throughout the series so far has not healed Chihiro. like every fight that he's gone through right now, he's just never gone into it fully healed. He took major damage from Chihiro from his first encounter with Sojo when he took the lightning. Then he lost an arm against Sojo. Then he had the arm sort of there but bandaged up. It wasn't fully strengthened. Now he's again going into this retrieval to secure a sword bearer, and both Hakuri and Chihiro are still roughed up. I mean, Hakuri's literally got toilet rolls sticking out of his nose here to cover those nosebleeds, and I'd like to get it to a point where we do see Chihiro fully heal and fighting at full power, but I feel like this is just Hokuzono's way at letting us know the breakneck speed and pace that we are going through this series at. Like, it is bam, 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 going. And I kind of enjoy that. That's one of the things that I actually really, really enjoy about this series. I do like a faster paced shonen battle series that also gives us more anticipation and more lore, and yeah, I'm really fucking with the series. But anyway, yeah, that's everything from me. Thank you all for watching. I'd love to start doing more Kagurabachi content, so please like and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Much fucking love. Big fucking kisses. Peace.